Hi folks, we're here with our wonderful reading ambassadors. Say hi, reading ambassadors.
Hi.
Hi.
And they're just going to talk to us today about why they love reading. So, gang, first question. What made you want to join the reading ambassadors? Who's going to talk to me about that? Go on then, start me off.
I joined Reading Ambassadors because I want to share my love of reading and encourage others to read as well.
Beautiful. Anyone else? What made you join this beer?
Reading Ambassadors is a good place to talk about reading and not have anyone calling it weird to read.
Absolutely, because reading is just a natural part of life, isn't it? It's something that we do every day without even realising, and it's so integral to us. Anyone else? Yeah, go on.
I love reading.
You just love reading. Yeah, go for it.
I want people to enjoy reading as much as all of us do here, because then we can. Reading is knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Oh, I love it. Reading is knowledge, knowledge is power. That is smashing it. I love that. Thank you. So, talk to me then a bit about. I mean, I've just heard from you about why reading is important to you, but for everyone else, why is reading so important to you? What does it give you? You think, Ayana? Do you want to start us off?
It creates like an escape from the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly when things are stressful, like at school, like you're studying so much, aren't you? And you're trying to make sure you're doing so well. So to have a little bit of a break from that and to go into another world can be a magical thing. Anyone else? Yeah, Cara?
You can learn about different cultures and different kinds of people.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's hugely important, isn't it, for us to have a bit of diversity in our reading, and to sort of see the world through someone else's eyes a little bit. Yeah, Joe?
The stories I read help me visualise the world more, to understand what's happening in our world, how it's happening in every part of the world.
Yeah, are you thinking of things like realistic fiction, or like historical fiction, looking at wars and things like that? Yeah, okay, amazing, yeah.
Because you may have one teacher that, like in year 6, one teacher that focus on subject about a certain race or a certain colour, but in any books you can focus on or not focus on any different race or any colour or whatever.
Right, you mean you see a variety of people,
you see
so
a
you
variety.
you as opposed to focusing on one person all the time, like white people's lives all the time, you actually get to see the world through everybody's eyes, and maybe understand some of the challenges that everybody is facing. Yeah, that's great. Anyone else? Yeah, go for it.
You can learn new things from reading.
Yeah, again, that idea that reading is knowledge, knowledge is power, we can just learn new things, yeah?
Like, you can see things that are not real, and you could just use your imagination to picture it all.
Yeah, there is something magical about that ability, isn't it? That the not real somehow being very real in your minds. Have you ever read a book where there's a character who dies, for example, and you're so invested, you're like, oh no, why did they die? And then you realise they didn't ever die because they never really existed, because they were just words on a page. But it feels real, doesn't it? It's so magical. Can anyone tell me anything that they've read recently that they've really enjoyed? We want to make sure we're making some great recommendations to people. Yeah.
I was feeling festive, so I read The Christmas Pig.
The Christmas Pig. I've heard about that, but I've never read it. What's good about it? Like, is it action adventure, or what things are great about it?
I think it's an action adventure, but I could really picture it and
Sorry, the printer just beating beside you. Say that again.
I could picture what's happening in the story.
So it was well written. It created a lot of imagery for you. Beautiful. So The Christmas Pig. If anyone's fancying a festive bit like that, anyone else, Phoebe?
I've recently read Ways to Be Me by Libby Scott and Rebecca Westcott, and it's like a realistic fiction, and it follows a girl being diagnosed with autism, and it follows her through how her life changes.
So it's kind of, again, looking at someone who's got neurodiversity, looking at someone's worldview changing when they realise that about themselves. Again, this is why it's so important. Anyone else read anything great recently?
I've read The Meltdowns Over Wimpy Kid by Jeff Kidney, and I think it's basically a bit like us. He likes school, but then he's talking about how it's winter and how global warming's changing it, and then he goes into about how it's all changed and now it's all snowy, and it's quite interesting because it's got comedy fiction, and I quite like that.
Yeah, anyone else like a comedy fiction? See, I've never read Diary of a Wimpy Kid, but I've heard that they're absolutely brilliant. Are they brilliant ones? Okay. Anyone else reading anything that they want to recommend? Yeah, start me off.
I've read Mr. Stink. I've got it from the library, and it's like a funny comedy, like with funny illustrations.
Oh, nice. Excellent. It seems like we like a little bit of comedy fiction in Reading Ambassadors. Yeah. Joel, did you have one you wanted to recommend?
I read a book on Greek myths. It was really interesting, talking about what's happened in the past, and you can really see the impact had on the Greeks as well. Like,
was that non-fiction or fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, fiction. Beautiful. So it kind of wove like the historical myth into like a modern fiction text. That's amazing. So what would you say to people of your own age if they want to get started as readers but they don't know how? How did you get started? How can we help them get started? Diana, start me off.
Just pick a small book and like from there you can kind of develop enjoying reading.
So start with one of our quick reads maybe.
Yeah.
Start with something short or maybe like a short story or something and build up your stamina a bit.
Yeah.
So that's a really good recommendation, yeah.
Like, start with a book, like say, if you like comedy, you can start with that and see how it like feels, and then you can go to another book.
So kind of think of things that you already like in life. So if you like comedy movies, start with a comedy book. Don't try and start with horror straight away. Yeah, so start with sticking things, interests that you have. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with because like say you liked Minecraft or something, you could read Minecraft books about how to build something, and then you
What you've got
learn
in the
more
library.
words, and then you can choose more genres, and then get into reading.
So start with things you like, you develop your vocabulary, and that then helps you build up to reading lots of different texts and enjoying them, yeah.
Don't always choose a book judged by the cover, because sometimes what's inside the book could be really boring, or it might be really interesting, but you didn't choose it earlier.
Yeah, so maybe instead of going by covers, how would you pick up? Do you go from the blurb or the title, or do you go from like recommendations from a friend? Which one is the best way, do you think? The blurb.
Yeah.
So make sure you read the blurb first, as opposed to just judging it off the cover. That's actually a really good recommendation, yeah.
What I do is I read books that are based. I watch movies that are based on books, and then I read the book.
Oh right, so you watch the Hunger Games movie and then you might read the Hunger Games book or something like that.
Yes.
That's such a great way, particularly because like Netflix and Amazon now have loads of things on that are based on books, and like Disney Plus as well with all the Marvel stuff. Like it's based on original comics, isn't it? So that's a really good recommendation. Thank you, Joel. Yep.
When I started reading, to make sure I looked forward to reading, I'd find a book I liked and maybe only read like a chapter at a time. So then I look forward to be able to go back and finish the book.
So it feels like a bit of a treat, doesn't it? Like you kind of ration yourself and build up. Does anyone else do that where they ration? See, I'm terrible. I'm the other way around. I'll like stay up to 3 a.m, like finishing one, and then like, oh man, I've got nothing left to read. All right, last question then. For our parents, is there any way that your parents encourage you to read? Like, what could we do for our parents to help them get their kids reading? Yeah.
My parents, they subscribe to this book club where they'll bring us books. They used to do this. They bought us books every month, and we got to read them.
Nice. So actually, just something simple like joining up with a book club was a really effective strategy. Yeah.
My mum got me these like comics with loads of different stories, short stories in, and I still like reading them, and I still look forward when they come on Thursdays.
Beautiful. So maybe picking something a bit more dynamic, like a comic or a short story, to again, like you said earlier, to get them into some shorter things would be a really great starting point. Yeah.
Maybe reading with together parents and children. So instead of just sitting down and just getting the child reading a full chapter themselves, split it up into somewhere the adult will read, somewhere the child.
And would that still work at your age? Because obviously that's something that you do with much younger children. Would you still enjoy that at your age? Do you think, or does it depend on the kind of text that it is? Maybe
It depends.
it depends on the kind of text. Sometimes if it's a novel you're really in, you don't want anyone interrupting you. That's what it is, isn't it? Okay, but that's a good idea. Reading together, or maybe listening to an audiobook together, would be quite a nice way. Anyone got any other ideas? Yeah.
You could split it into chunks, 5 minutes for that, and then read one chapter, and then come back the next day, read another one.
Again, so sort of chunking it down to make it more manageable. Yeah, I like that idea. Yep.
Kind of just make it a habit. It's whilst you're cooking, you just put on an audio book on with your family.
Yeah, just make it happen all the time, everywhere, so that it just becomes a habit for everybody. Yeah, Joel?
My parents take me to the library every week for an hour or two, so it's actually really nice. We can browse around, see books, read for a while. It's quiet.
Yeah, letting you choose your own books is a big deal. You need to have choice, like everything in life. Yeah, getting to do that. That's a really great idea. Thank you so much, our fabulous reading ambassadors. We'll say goodbye to the good folks at home now. Thanks so much for your help.
Bye-bye.
Bye.